Welcome back, guys, to the One Man Show. I am the man, and that is,
The one and only.
and we are joined here today by who else? Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Prithiv. Very nice to meet you guys. It's great to be on the show. I've been watching your podcast. It's really funny stuff, and I'm really happy. I'm really excited.
So before we dive in with Prithiv and hear his side of his story in the ring and outside the ring, I just want to say a big thanks to everyone for listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, we are, of course, the One Man Show, the number one fight podcast in Singapore. Unfortunately, we can no longer call ourselves the only fight podcast in Singapore because something else has popped up.
Really?
But that's fine. We like the competition, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. I mean, the more people talk about the fight scene in Singapore, whether boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, I think it's better to get a bit more attention to the sport. So it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So today we have Prithiv on the virtual couch with us because obviously we're still in the CB period and we're practicing social distancing, which is good because I don't want to be near Ridhwan. He smells sometimes.
The feeling's mutual. It's mutual.
And the reason why we have Prithiv on our show here today is because he is the latest Singaporean boxer to actually announce that he's going pro. Prithiv, is that true?
That's
Tell us
right.
what's the mindset behind the decision to go pro?
Well, Iman, I've always loved boxing. I've been boxing since I was a kid, and professional boxing has been something that I've wanted since I was young as well. And after national service, it's finished now. I'm moving on with my life, and I think boxing has been has given me a huge satisfaction, and I want to continue it in a higher level now. With the professional ranks, where I have smaller gloves and I have the ability to hurt people more.
What weight are you going to be competing at?
As of right now, I'm not very sure because I was competing at 49 in the SEA Games and then 52 in some international tournaments as well. So I'm very sure it's going to be in the lighter weight classes. But the thing is, I don't want to cut weight. I don't want to cut too much of weight now. So I want to fight in a comfortable weight class where I can focus more on boxing and my speed, my power, instead of draining myself and putting myself through all that. So as of right now, I'm not very sure because I want to discuss with my eventual team. But looking at somewhere about possibly 54, maybe 57, looking at that range. So yeah.
57 is like my weight class.
I was just about to say.
Yeah, no, but it's about there. I'll try to cut wherever I'm comfortable at.
Yeah, stay away, boy. Stay away.
Seriously, we're starting with the spicy stuff.
No, you were saying about like a potential team. Have you got like a team that you've been talking to get your career started already, or what?
Well, I have been speaking to the ring. I was speaking to Abdullah Karom, a fantastic French boxer in Singapore, and also Zhu, the promoter of Golden Gloves Asia. So I've been speaking to them. There's nothing final yet. There's nothing has been decided. Especially with the COVID, it's very hard to set an event, right, or to foresee a definite event or set a date because it's so unpredictable. So as of right now, it's not confirmed, but there's a high possibility that I'm going with the ring and Golden Gloves.
Well, what's the reason behind wanting to join the ring? I mean, well, you're pretty much in safe hands, but do tell us more.
Yep. For me, I believe that a proper team is very, very important because I want to work hard. I want to give my life to this. I want to do good in this, and I need a proper team. I need people who are professional boxers as well, where I can learn from. I can emulate. And right now, I think they have one of the largest professional boxing teams. Also, one of the most experienced. I have seen the FBM guys. I think they're decent. They're good. But I think the ring does have, some good promotional abilities as well. Their marketing skills are very good, and I've trained with some of the guys over there. I like the guys, so those are some reasons that I like to continue with them.
Yeah, I mean, I've been I've been around those guys, and they're doing good stuff over there. What do you think, Juan? I mean, you've fought for. I mean, you've not fought for, but you fought under their organization before.
I mean, they really have done like a few key events. I think they have done pretty well with the crowd, with the attention, the marketing. They have their own stars, and I think they know what they're doing. So I think starting with them will be a good. It's a good step, bro. It's a good step. I mean, at the end of the day, I think they want to support the local guys. So I think you're not going to lose out on anything to join them. I think financially also, I think they're quite strong. So I mean, it's always a gamble, when you do pro boxing, because you never know. So after your first fight, things change, or you get injured, or you lose badly, or you win amazingly for some reason. Then I don't know. It's really unpredictable. Anything can happen. So.
Oh, your promoter runs away, and you never see the light of it. Right?
Or it dumps you.
You know that. You know all about that. Right?
Yeah, it's all part of the game. A lot of sharks out there, so you gotta be the dolphin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's backtrack a bit. Prithiv, how old are you right now?
I am 22, going 23 this year.
Oh, damn young.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about, how you started boxing and what made you want to, start punching people in the face.
Well, I started when I was 12 years old, and I got picked on. I got bullied when I was a kid. I was very afraid, and I didn't want to be afraid anymore. Also, I always wanted to be very good at something, exceptional at something. So I would always try different things that I could excel at. However, I needed to protect myself because I was getting beat. And so I tried out Taekwondo to begin with. And Taekwondo, they have that pattern shit, like it's like synchronized dancing kind of thing. So I didn't like that. So I went to Muay Thai with my brother. My brother does Muay Thai. And I preferred my hands. So I went on to boxing, and my brother...
Prefer your hands, just like Iman there.
But my brother stayed with Muay Thai. He's a Muay Thai professional fighter, and he's a champion now. So now I'm going on to boxing, and so that's how I started. And then I met Coach Kadir, an amazing mentor of mine. I met Kevin Matthews, and met a lot of incredible people that helped me along the way. And I just never stopped, it was one tournament after another tournament, and my entire teenhood was in the boxing gym. I spent more time training than doing anything else, and I have no regrets at all because it taught me so much of values. I managed to compete in 57 fights, which of course is not a lot considering the amount of time that I've been boxing for. Because a lot of my friends, some of my friends in the States, they have like close to 130 fights before they're turning professional. They have already turned professional. They're my age. They have already turned professional. They're like 2 and 3 and 0, with 3 fights at least a year. So, of course, coming from Singapore, it's not easy to be a good professional, but just a lot of hard work. But yeah, so that's been my amateur career. That's been how I've been boxing. And I just love it. I love it so much. It gives me so much of happiness and purpose. So that's why I'm keeping this going.
I think it's really interesting how you talk about being bullied, because I know a lot of people who have been bullied. They picked up martial arts, but what do you think for yourself? What is it about martial arts and wanting to fight back with your bullies? Because I think from the majority of people that I've talked to who had this kind of background where they were picked on when they were young and stuff like that, it's not about the whole like wanting to punch the person who bullied you in the face, but it's more about building self-confidence and self-esteem.
Right. Of course.
I mean, it's the same for Wan. I mean, he grew up fat, right, Wan?
No, it was just fluffy.
Yeah, fluffy with a fat nose, which you still have.
But I was a very short kid. I was very, very short.
But I'm just curious, like when we watch documentaries of fighters from overseas, when they say they get bullied, right? There is like really like extreme cases of bullying. Yeah. But in Singapore, how is it like? How is bullying? How is bullying for you? The experience.
I think when both of you guys were were in secondary school and primary school probably worse. But for me, it was I'm not calling guys old, but but
Careful.
I'm sorry, but yeah, but for me, it was just beating, elbows.
You're getting beat up
punches.
in school.
Yeah. In school, and it was some guys they need to feel superior. Maybe they have it rough at home. Maybe they need somewhere to feel big, and I was a platform for them to feel big. And actually, funny thing, after I became good in boxing, I never hit them. But they stopped bullying me. It wasn't because they knew I boxed. It's just that I was a very shy kid. But then with boxing, I became confident. I knew how to speak to these guys. I knew how to tell them like, hey man, this is not okay, you know. And I knew how to become their friend instead of fighting them. So yeah.
I think that's a very valid point. I think people who actually know how to fight, fighting is their last resort. They don't actually want to fight. I mean, they have the thing about learning martial arts, and you guys have boxing, and I have my Sila background and stuff like that. It's actually at the end of the day, it's how you handle yourself in certain situations.
Yeah.
Having the amount of training and stuff like that, you kind of know how to react, and you don't really get angry that much because like if you want to, you can probably smash some people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also the thing about, to me, the thing about martial arts is that to a certain extent, it's really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you go at it, the more humble you get. You always think that, hey, I've been training for like 10 years or 5 years or 3 years. I'm kind of good. But, when you go and compete, you find someone who is better than you and you're like, oh shit,
100%. Yep.
So it's mentally and physically challenging, which helps you manage like situations in your life. I mean, I don't know if that's how everybody feels about it, but so far when I interview boxers, fighters, MMA fighters, Silat athletes and all that, I've never heard of any one of them who actually learn, once they start learning, they want to go up and beat up people. It's more about I've built up my confidence now. I have my self-esteem, I know where to divert my attention and stuff like that.
And that's what sports is about, right? Not just martial arts.
Yeah, basically it is, but more so martial arts, because the discipline that you need is, it's either you grind and you stay disciplined or you get knocked out.
Yeah.
Which I think one knows one or two things about, right? One, getting knocked out.
I've never been knocked out.
I've never seen him floored. Oh wait, once. But
once. I've been on the floor only once.
How many amateur fights did you have before you turned pro, one?
I think 140 something, 150. But it's not a lot considering I've been doing amateur for 8 to 10 years. Yeah, and some people, a lot of people have done 150 fights in a year. But we make do with what we have, Singaporean boxers can't complain, just make do with what you have.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think there are a lot of successful pro boxers who only had 12 amateur fights. People like Canelo, Triple G. Triple G has got a lot, but there are a lot of but there are a lot of pro boxers who have never done very well in the amateurs, but in the pro they just. I think it's two different sports. Amateur boxing and pro boxing is two different sports.
Yeah, but of course, amateur boxing does give you quite a bit of experience and confidence as well. So, I mean, of course, Ridhwan had a lot of fights. He traveled a lot. But with me, I did compete in the SEA Games and the Commonwealth Youth Games and some international tournaments in Mongolia and Hong Kong and whatnot. And these tournaments taught me different styles and different fighters and different habits that different guys have. And competing against them taught me that, but also watching different guys. So when I wasn't competing, I was always watching and studying all these fighters. Even my teammates, how they would handle things. My seniors, how they would cut weight, how they would be very cool and composed. I would watch other fighters from other countries, how they would deal with punches, how they counter, how they would deal with different scenarios. So I think amateur fights does help quite a bit.
Yeah, it gives you the foundation. And even if you lose, everybody hates to lose, but if you lose in the amateurs, it's quite okay because that's where you try to get the experience. And
Yep.
oh, we never traveled before, right? Together for competition.
We never showered.
You never traveled.
Well, Wan, is there something you want to share with us? Love to shower.
You never traveled together, right? For competition.
We did in Hong Kong.
Is
Hong
it?
Kong?
Oh yeah, once.
Yeah, once.
Is
once,
it?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yep, Hong Kong once. Yeah.
Yeah, Wan, that's why I say.
That one I won gold, is it?
Yes, you won goal.
Yeah, I just want to see that.
Now he's just flexing. Now he's just flexing.
I think that was 2015.
Yeah, the videos on YouTube, so you guys can watch. Watch and learn. Watch and learn, Iman.
Straight up
Watch and learn,
flexing.
Iman.
Now let's move on from Wan and his CTE and still trying to boast, even though he has brain damage and he has moved into a house beside IMH for obvious reasons. The other thing I find quite interesting is that you have an elder brother who is also a professional fighter.
Yep, he's a Muay Thai champion, a WMO Muay Thai champion. He's very talented, very gifted, but he works hard as well. And it's quite nice to be from a fighting family because like we're given the support. My mom is very supportive. My mom is actually she's not an athlete, she's not a fighter, but she's just a very supportive person. Where if I say I want to be a stripper, my mom would be like, oh, what do you need? Do you need poles at home? Do you need underwear? Do you need
Wow.
So, yeah.
Tongue, man, you need a tongue. Leopard queen.
She will actually help to shave all your body hair.
Yeah. So my mom's very supportive, and my brother and I decided to go in the fighting and sports field. So we train each other, we push each other mentally. When we are feeling nerves before a fight, we would talk to each other, and yeah. So it is quite interesting.
So I think that's interesting because you say you study a lot of fighters. I'm pretty sure the first person you studied was your brother also.
Not really, because Muay Thai. No, Muay Thai is very different. I feel like it's similar to the average Joe, but to boxers we know that it's very different. Their stance is different. Their punches are different. Matter of fact, Muay Thai fighters most of them don't punch like proper boxers. They're focusing on a lot of aspects. They are focusing on their elbows, knees, kicks, and I don't usually study Muay Thai fighters.
Well, what I was trying to refer to was that you probably had an up close and personal look at how he trains and the grind and everything, and that probably kind of molded you to also picked up the grind. Would you say that?
Yes, but I was competing before he was.
Oh.
I started competing before he started competing, so I think maybe it might have been the other way around.
What's his age now? This year.
He's 25 this year.
Oh, okay. So young also.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of brothers who are, both fighting, your younger brother also fights.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, as an elder brother, I know Prithiv is the younger brother, but you, as an elder brother, do you tend to look out for your brother a lot more? Do you tell him hey, don't do this or don't do that?
No, not really.
Well, that explains why why a lot of people say you're selfish.
Yeah, for me, just if he's got to learn, he's got to learn. It's his experience, and of course I will be there. I will be protective, but I won't be going out. Hey, bro, what's up? Hope you're all okay. You get whooped in your head. Your ass got whooped, then it happens, man. you just gotta learn from it. I think mine was. I think I don't naturally grow up in a very affectionate environment. So we are not like brothers, but yeah,
Okay, before we get too sad and this becomes like a family affair shit, let's move on. From my understanding, you just finished NS?
Yes, I did.
Well, congratulations on finishing NS.
Thank you. It was not easy.
And still wanting to live after that?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've been an athlete most of my life, right? So since I started boxing, I've been doing nothing but boxing. I've been training. I never got the chance to go out to parties, to date, to go around and have fun like a normal teenager. And to be honest, national service was that for me. So because I was training for a fight while I was in national service, the Pasta Cups, and I was training very hard with Banda, my one of my gyms that I was training at, and a week before my tournament, they said no, you can't go. We don't allow you to go. So I realized very quickly that national service is not a place where athletes can train. I mean, some are able to train. Some places they're very supportive, but my place was not. So I decided to make money and coach and have some financial freedom. So in national service, I was working a lot. I was coaching a lot. You wouldn't even believe it. So I was a fireman, by the way, in national service. Before my duties, I would be coaching people. Heck, I would coach people at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., right?
Yeah, we saw that you're posting on IG stories.
Yeah. So heck, I've even had clients at 3 a.m., guys who just, traders. So people who wake up really early to bankers, traders, they are able to accommodate to these times. People who have kids, young children, they wake up earlier than normal, they're able to accommodate to these times. And also I feel like I'm decent at sales. I'm able to convince people. So I managed to train people at very early before my duty. And during training, I was training some guys in the fire station. I was still making money during my duty. And after duty, right away, I'll be training guys. So I was coaching so much, and I was getting very good at coaching. And with the money, I was able to experience financial freedom. I was able to go around, social around a bit more, let loose a bit more, and that was really fun. But then I actually, for a minute, I thought that, this is comfortable. I'm doing fine. I even studied while I was in NS. And I was feeling quite okay, and I decided to, maybe I shouldn't go back to boxing because I'm financially comfortable, I'm having fun, I'm living life. But then I realized one thing, right? I study people all the time. I read about people, and I read about these three people. It's very interesting. Marilyn Monroe, the actress, Vincent Van Gogh, the painter, and Robin Williams, right, the comedian. So all these three people, they were very, very successful. They hit the utmost of success, and our children's children know them. They made so much of money. They were living great lives. But you know one thing? They killed themselves. These three people, they killed themselves. So does money and success really equals to happiness? I didn't think so. I thought meaning is what life is about. And then I was in the fire truck going for a fire once, and towards the end of my national service. And then I realized, okay, it's coming to an end. What's next? What's my meaning? And so I spoke to my mentors, I spoke to my family, and I decided professional boxing is this. And I'm very hungry. I know that I feel like I will be very, very upset if I retired boxing, if I am in my 40s and 50s, and I look back and I know that I didn't turn professional, if I know that I didn't search for that meaning that would give my life purpose, I knew that it wouldn't be right. And so that was how national service was. That's how national service transcended to boxing. And yeah, so that was that.
What sort of meaning are you looking out for when you say in professional boxing? What sort of meaning are you hoping to achieve?
I had training camps in India and in Philippines and some other places, and and I realized that I transcended through the process of training. When I'm working my butt off for a fight, and while I'm in the fight, I'm getting tested. These things shape my values, and that gives me a lot of meaning when I'm in the ring and when I'm working towards the ring. These things give me a lot of satisfaction and meaning and purpose.
Well, I think that's kind of that seems to be something that you got out of national service in the end. So it was kind of useful, wasn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I think before I went to national service, I thought it was a waste of time, and I hated it. But right now, I think it would prove helpful for every young man to go into national service, because I learned some values. I learned time management skills. I learned discipline. I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to clean up after myself and others. I learned that there are different types of people in NS, and not everyone's nice. Not everyone who smiles at you is nice with you, and I learned about myself. So I think national service can do good to anyone, not just athletes, but everyone.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think I went into national service the same mindset, but then the first thing is that you get to mix with people from like every level in society, and then you realize that your life's not that bad. I mean, it's all good. Some people like will jerk off and come on walls at night while you are sleeping.
Don't tell people about your own stories, right?
But that's fine.
You need to go for another round of NS, I think.
But that's fine.
Confinement gets people horny, man.
Let's not even go there, man. NS stories are horror stories, but it seems like you got something out of NS that not a lot of people get, which is actually clarity in what you want to do. And props to you. You're 23, and you're already looking for meaning. I mean, that just shows that as a young man, you do know what you're doing. Unlike one who is still searching for the meaning of whatever he's doing.
The meaning is searching for me. I'm not seeing what the meaning.
So there's also this other, when Ridhwan told me that you were coming on the show and he would like you to be on the show, was looking through your Instagram and your social and stuff like that, and I realized there is another side of you other than the boxing side. This whole
we've preached.
Yes, there's this whole social persona that you have, kind of influencers slash motivators, stuff like that. Can you tell us more about it and how that came about?
So I had a lot of mentors growing up, and I've traveled quite a bit, and all these lessons that I learned, I realized that the best lessons that you learn are through experiences and also people's experiences. And with all these, I thought of sharing it. And I thought about it for a while. I thought, people would benefit from sharing and listening to this. But then I just kept it to myself. I just kept it to my circle of friends, until one day where something not very pleasant happened to me. And I looked online because I was online. People my generation is always on Instagram, and I couldn't stop thinking about this thing. And I just decided to look out for content that would make me feel better, or would help me out, or make me feel positive again. And there was nothing there. It was just all about hot chicks taking selfies, or
I don't mind
funny videos, right? So then I realized, I think posting some videos could help that kid out there who's getting bullied, that kid who is shy and who's feeling not confident, that athlete out there who's feeling alone, that kid who just went through a breakup, So I decided to post some videos. And then I recently stopped because I just realized my plate's too full. I'm having too much in my life, with school and my coaching career, the coaching business, and with professional boxing now. I just felt like, it's okay. I had my fun there. Maybe in the future I'll go back to doing that. But yeah.
But what kind of feedback were you getting from that? I mean, the internet's not a very kind place.
It's not a kind place, but it was not too bad because. The thing is, you see what you choose to see, right? Like, what I was thinking about Ridhwan's career the other day, and he, at the start of his career, he was beating everyone. Everyone they put in front of him was being beat, and people were criticizing him for beating people. But then, in the same card, the same promotion, guys are still losing. If there are guys who are losing the same promotion, but this guy is being exceptional at winning, then he's just good. He's just making it look easy. But still, there are people hating on him. So even if you win, you get hate. Even if you lose, you get hate. So regardless, just existing is going to get you hate. So if I'm living for people, then I would be very upset. So I thought about that and I just went through with it. the reception that I got was decent, was good. I did get some very positive feedback, and of course some guys saying, like, hey, why are you posting these videos? I don't like them. Oh, unfollow me then, right? So so yeah, on the most part, it was always positive.
Well, one thing I want to say first is congratulations for turning Ridhwan on, and knowing that you think about him. He's gonna go to bed tonight thinking about you for sure. and it's true. Firstly, the internet is undefeated.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be trolls out there, people who will always pick on you no matter what you do. We've had our fair share also of trolls giving feedback on the show and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they listen till the end of the show.
Yeah.
because they'll pick on certain things that we say like towards the end of the show. So that means they really actually went all the way into the hour.
Right.
Which me and Wan came to the realization like, hey, you know what? They can hate us all they want. We actually love them because they add to our viewership. And we're in the thousands now. So we're pretty much.
It reminds me of a quote from Floyd Mayweather. So Floyd Mayweather said, "You're gonna pay me to see me lose, or you're gonna pay to see me win. But either which way, you're gonna pay me, right?" So like with your show, it's your viewer rate still gonna go up, and then eventually you can get sponsors with the viewer rate. Haters or not, viewer rate still goes up.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think the focus is just we want to have fun, and then we want to do our own part to like talk crap, and also try at the same time try to promote the local guys, the local fighters, and build a story for them. I mean, we're still small. I mean, we're not as big as we want it to be yet.
Yeah.
But
That's what she said.
Yeah, if we get there, then it'll be good. If not, we are still having fun doing whatever that we're doing. This is sort of a way for me and Iman to communicate because we don't talk outside of the show.
Yeah, we're not friends outside of the show.
You guys seem very tight though.
We can't stand each other. So, look, you're gonna turn pro soon, but obviously with this whole COVID situation, it's been, kind of sucky. Like, Ridhwan does not have a fight lined up, so I reckon you yourself wouldn't have a fight lined up.
No, I don't. Matter of fact, just looking for promotion is hard enough,
but are they open really to get you on board?
I believe they are. I get and I understand why it's hard for them to give me yes because of how things are very unpredictable. But more than anything, I think I need a good team because I need to develop as a professional. And like I can't go into this thing going head first and being complacent. So the promotions will come. Right, I think with some time in the sport, with some years and consistency, and I'm very, very young as well.
Yeah,
I think it will come. Right, even with the COVID will end soon. Right, no matter how long it takes, it will eventually end. And when it ends, I'm still going to be young, and I'm still going to be able to compete. But I need a good team. I need an assurance that I'm going to have a good team. So that's my only worry. And when I say team, yes, promotional marketing aspects one part, but the whole competing, training, that whole persona that my teammates are bringing to trainings, that is something that I do worry about a little bit, because I'm not sure if in Singapore, and I've seen your podcast, you guys touch about this quite a lot. In the national team, there was a bit of
he's touching the spicy stuff.
I'm touching
the G spot. Someone's gonna get turned on.
I hear this coming out all the time in your podcast, but I'm going to touch it briefly. In the national team, there wasn't good structure, and I mean, I think the coaches did the best that they can do, but it wasn't the best, and I just fear that I would be going into professional boxing, doing this alone and not having proper structure. So that's my biggest worry. I think the promotional aspect of it, I think I can become a marketable fighter. So that just takes time. It takes time building a fan base and a hate base. So yeah.
Well, what kind of persona are you going for? What kind of image are you going for when you go pro? And you did a
well,
poll asking for the fight name. We can give you one now. Iman has one.
I do not have one.
Well, I want to be an entertaining fighter. I want to entertain. I want to be the guy who puts opponents on the canvas and fans on the seats. I want if a poster is there, I want people to be like, I want to consider buying it. I want to at least look at the ticket prices. I want to ask them about the ticket prices. That kind of guy. I want to be myself. Where if I'm not going to talk trash because that's not me. I respect this sport so much, and I respect athletes going against me. But I want to be myself, where I promote stuff without caring about the haters. I want to cause excitement.
Do things your way.
Build my way, and I like to wear a nice little dress-like pants. I think you've seen Javante wearing it and his fights, Brona wearing it, that kind of thing, and not worry about the haters because I'm doing this for myself, right? So the kind of fighter I would like to be, entertaining in one word.
Well, that's, kind of like the fact that you already have what you want to do in mind, even before your first fight. But if we were to go back a bit, and you said your biggest concern is forming a team around you, then I think you've come to the right place, because up until this day, Ridhwan still has not found the right team for himself. That's why he's training alone.
No, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who your teammates are in profession. I mean, for me, professional boxing, I think first, what's important is you need a knowledgeable coach, a coach that cares for you more as a person rather than a boxer. That means he sees you as a person, not just as a way to make money. I think that's the most important thing. Right. Yeah, I think whatever that comes after that, I think is a bonus. Because at the end of the day, a good coach, you can find someone to be a good coach, but to someone else is just normal. So at the end of the day, it's very hard to find chemistry. Sometimes you can be in a team where three you are in the same stable of three champions, but you might not be the champ. So it really depends. I don't know. It's a trial and error thing.
Are you open to going overseas to form a team?
Yep, I have contacts in the renowned gym Wildcard, the Wildcard Boxing Gym. So my good friend Stevie McKenna, I'm not sure if you have heard of him. He's training there, and I've got some other friends training there.
But Wildcard, to be honest, anybody can train there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of
anyone can train there. Anyone can train there, but
just a matter of getting whether you get the top coaches, the right coaches, and they are so busy. They're so busy to entertain you. You are the top guy.
But getting the sparring that you need, knowing who to speak to get the sparring arrangements. So that in Cebu, I have a camp there. The Omega gym. So those guys have been really good to me. I've trained with them for a training camp before. I would like to go there again. And I have some contacts. I definitely look to make a lot of training camps. I actually do have hopes to move overseas to box, because right now I'm still studying, and I'm doing night school. I'm doing part-time school, and I've got another 2 more years left. And after I'm done with that, I like to move on, because the thing is, with sports as a career, it will come to an end. And when it comes to an end, I like to have something that backs me up. Even if I use it or I don't use it, because sometimes in business you don't even use a degree, right? But I love studying and I love school. So, but the only con is school keeps me in Singapore. So for the next 2 years, I am going to stay in Singapore. Hopefully get a good promotion, get a good team, build a decent record, and then I hope to possibly move overseas.
That's again, I'm quite astonished that you have it all planned out right now, because when I was 23, I had no idea what I was doing. I was probably working and studying at the same time. But I had no idea that I'll be what I am or what I was going to be. Actually, until now, I don't think I know what I want to be in the future. And, one thinks that he's going to stay young forever and he's going to box until he's 40. He'll probably be a punching bag by then. Who knows? But I think if you're determined enough to, want to follow through with what you've set up to be, then I think there's always a possibility, because I think this is the thing with doing sports, right? Because you're humble, and you know the value of a grind. You know how hard it is out there, so you'll keep on doing it. Now I want to pass it to Wan. I mean, you've been in the fight game for some time now. You've had the same kind of, well, you have had more experience, going to overseas gyms and stuff like that. I mean, you've trained at the Mayweather gym in Las Vegas before. So tell us, just to share with everybody who listens to the show, and also to Prithiv himself, like, well, what does it feel like to be an overseas fighter at a gym overseas?
I think
different treatment and stuff like that.
I think obviously, okay, let's use I've been to a lot of gyms, but we will use the Las Vegas gym, the Floyd's gym is an example there. So the moment you go there, of course you need to earn your place. Everybody looks at you like you are somebody that they can test before you get their respect. When I was training there was a lot of champions. Floyd was there, Gervonta Davis was there training, Chris Eubanks, JC Vargas. So they're really, like, you really see them work. And the other guys that are coming up, they are all trying to spar you, trying to get a piece of you, and you need to stand your ground. And I think when they do the doghouse or whatever they call it, that sparring, I think it's more of a mental thing. And they talk trash to you, they talk trash to your coach. So during the fight, during the spar, so it really tests you mentally. But it's all there. Whatever happens in the ring, just stays in the ring, in the gym. But once they're out, they are all friends. That's the difference. I feel like over here it's different. Like the rivalry goes on for too long, and it becomes unnecessary hate. But over there, when it's like, okay, on the court or on the ring, when I'm going to talk trash to you, I'm just going to talk trash to you. So I think it builds them mentally, and then it's how they are programmed. That's how they grow up. That's how they can just talk to the media so easily, because just part of them.
Whereas in Singapore, you don't see that. You don't see people taunting each other. People are very nice.
The culture,
not that guy.
The culture is different.
I mean, aside from you in the clinch, most guys are pretty nice as well. Like when they break, they're like, okay, you're fine, buddy, and then we go back to boxing. But in a lot of these countries, they're not nice, I guess. Actually, one of the last guys you fought, I was sparring with him in Omega. I forgot his name. But yeah, he taunted all the time. Like all the time. Especially when the promoters was in the gym. Whew, man, I would hit him harder, he would taunt. I just keep on, whenever I hit him, he would taunt more and more and more. I'm like, oh man. So yeah, I'm not used to that for sure. But
I think sometimes people need to understand, right? This taunting is not for you. It's more for them. I think it's more like they're putting it out there. Like they say, I'm gonna knock you out in 8 rounds. So it's like he sets a standard for himself. So because he said it out there in the public, so he needs to really prove to himself. It's not to get into the opponent's head. It's to get into his own head so that he can step up. I think that's part of psychology, and
that's very good.
It's just
Let me just break this up a bit. I mean, boxing, trash talking, and stuff like that go hand in hand, right? But I think it's becoming a bit passé now, where you have the new generation, which Prithiv is a part of now, of people like Ryan Garcia, who, yes, Ryan Garcia does talk trash, but that's not where he gets a lot of his followings from. He get a lot of his following from social, and the things he does on social and stuff like that. Do you guys? I mean, I'll put this up to you guys. Do you guys think that that's the way to go now? I mean, no. Nowadays, if you just go on the cam and you trash talk, it's no longer gonna work on a lot of people.
But the thing is, to be honest, I don't think whatever Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, David Haney, whatever they're doing, I don't think it's talking. I don't think that's talking trash. I don't take it as that. I think they're just saying that I'm going to knock you out. This is my expectation of myself of the fight. It's not. It's not to a level where it's dirty. It's crap. If you know, when Muhammad Ali wanted to fight Sonny Liston, he ran all the way to Sonny Liston's house. I think he was like making noise outside of Sonny Liston's house, forcing him to fight. And then when Sonny Liston came out of the house, there was media there, and Sonny Liston couldn't run away from the media, and he had to fight Muhammad Ali somehow. And if he doesn't fight, he looks like a I don't know,
Yeah.
So
I think he even pulled out a gun once, right?
Yeah, I think just confidence. I think Ryan Garcia had confidence.
Yeah.
John Watanabe has confidence, and Lomachenko has confidence. And when you're at that level, I think you need to have that ego, that pride, that belief.
100%.
Because you can't be like super humble and shit. Because this is not a sport where you can feel like you're not the best. You have to feel like you're the best. And of course, you cannot believe yourself hype. That's one thing. That's the most dangerous thing as a fighter. But whatever you do, I mean, talking trash is probably like if you get a person involved in religion, politics, and bringing down the person's mother, father, family. I think that's trash. But other like, I'm going to knock you out, whether you're from the same country or let's fight. That's not talking trash. But people will be threatened by you, by your competitiveness. And I think in the Asian culture, I think people are going to be threatened by that. They don't see that as being humble. If you're being humble, nobody's going to buy your tickets. Nobody's going to know you're going to fight.
At the end of the day, that's what it's about.
Right? You don't post your fight because why don't you post your fight? Oh, I'm humble.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Hey. It is at this moment of time where I have to announce to somebody who a lot of Ridhwan's fans has been urging him to fight. I'm not going to name that person, but recently there was an Instagram poll of who Ridhwan should fight next, and his name came out a lot.
Yeah, even Mothership asked me about this.
Is he from?
No, wait, hang on. All I want to say is that to this person who I hope he's listening, just don't tell Ridhwan where you live because he's going to run to your house. He's probably going to threaten you.
I know where he lives.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what the people want to see. And I'm not going to touch on that right now because I don't,
this is about Prithiv,
this is about Prithiv and,
but it's still going to be about Prithiv because it's going to be Prithiv's teammate. If you're not with me, you're against me. Nate DS.
Oh no. Anyways, like that was a very good point that he mentioned with the whole social media and whole presence and selling tickets, because we're not amateurs anymore. We're professionals, and professionals sell tickets.
That's your job.
Create excitement. And like, I mean, let's take two fighters for example. Naoya Inoue, tremendous fighter. The highest jab rate in boxing and second highest landing percentage, with first being Golovkin. He has 422k followers, right? 422,000. However, another guy, Ryan Garcia, much younger, definitely not as talented or in the same pedigree as Naoya Inoue, and he has 19.4 million followers. So these are two guys who are different, but then one of them is making way more money. One of them is more marketable. One of them is causing excitement, and that's what professional boxing is about. So I definitely agree with what Ridhwan was saying. So that's true. I hope that I can become a fighter that causes excitement, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm trying to point out is that just being egoistic and talking trash, or like being like I'm gonna knock you out and stuff like that.
Yep.
With how the world is evolving. Let's not talk about boxing because boxing has not evolved.
Yeah.
It's been on the back foot for a long time. That's why MMA has overtaken it as more of a watch sport than boxing itself.
I don't agree, but it's okay.
Yeah, well, you just stay in your corner for now. This is not about you.
No, I'm just saying I don't agree, but the numbers don't say so though. The numbers don't say it that way.
I think it depends on which part of the world, right?
And it also depends. It also depends on the boxers who are fighting. I mean, if you definitely everybody wants to watch Deontay Wilder and also Tyson Fury again, but then on the average, people watch MMA week in week out more than people watch boxing. That's my humble opinion. But what I'm trying to say is that what is it that MMA has done different to boxing? And one of the things is that they've catch up to technology a lot more than boxing has.
Yep.
Especially in the social side. The Ryan Garcia probably makes a lot more money on social media than he does when he fights, especially when he was starting out, right?
Yeah.
That's because he markets himself, and that's because he used the tools that he has, Instagram, Snapchat, and whatever, and
Yeah.
a lot
It's a skill.
and a lot of pictures of him without his shirt on to
Yeah.
actually get, it nowadays it does not matter who your followers are. I'm pretty sure half of his followers are young girls who actually like think he's hot.
Underage.
I don't think they're underage, but okay, one. I don't know where you get that from. But I'm just saying that's how you have to evolve, and that's how people like Prithiv. I think on that sense, you're kind of on the right track to make yourself more marketable in the sense because you already got the tools and you've already started doing these things. Whereas somebody who's a boomer like Ridhwan, he still posts like skipping videos of himself and stuff like that. That's why he not a lot of people follow him. Next time, when you do skipping or workout, try to do it without a shirt, so maybe people
I post skipping videos. I post a lame video, at least I get 3,000 to 4,000 views at least. And whatever it is, it's still organic reach, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, I believe in marketing, but at the same time, my main job is to fight and win. And because if I don't perform, I think all this attention is not going to mean anything anyway. So I think it's the boxing that brings me this attention. It's not the other way around. For me, at least, that's my formula.
Well said.
Well, Prithiv, you've obviously think that social media is important. That's why you've been doing what you've been doing, and from what we see, you do have quite a strong following on social media. So moving on from that, and I hope you don't lose that. And even if you have enough, even if you think that you have a lot on your plate, I think social media is not something you could forego. I think it's very important for you to grow that from a journalist point of view. If I was still in that line and I was looking at Ridhwan has like 3K followers and then somebody else has like 10K followers, who is somebody that I want to do a TV piece, a profile piece more on,
Or a 10K guy.
Definitely, because that 10K helps me also as a producer, because I know that maybe half of that 10K will be watching it.
Hey, jackass.
And
if you're so smart, right? Why do you try to grow the One Man Show Instagram page, idiot?
No, I'm not.
I know. I just want to make.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I'm trying to give this young man.
Yeah, because it's the truth. Because when I go meet sponsors, they're like, "Who's following you? How many followers?" And I mean, that's a business now. At the end of the day, that's how it is. Either you talk trash, you go naked, or you be controversial, then people will follow you.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think the obvious thing to talk about next is definitely, what do you plan to get out of your career in professional boxing? What's the level you want to reach? What's the ceiling?
Right. It would be nice to hear if I said, WBC Asia, the WBC Silver, OPBF, or World Title, and naming these belts. But at the end of the day, at the end of my career, a belt shouldn't define me. Right, that's one. Also, if I'm looking at the future, if I'm looking at the far end where I can't see, I'm going to lose sight of what's in front of me. So my goal is per fight, knocking these guys out, growing every fight, getting better every fight, and that's my goal. No matter what I achieve, what weight class I go to, that will be something that I can't predict. It will come as it goes. I could be fast and strong, but what if I go in, I take a body shot, I go down, I get up, and the referee stops the fight? That's done, right? Who knows, right? So my focus should be the next fight. So that is my focus. So I can't really answer that question with like a highlight or with very specifically. I can just give a very big answer, which is per fight.
Well, it's like what you say. If you're comfortable with that answer, then that answer is right for you, right?
Yeah.
One, you've been a pro for some time now, and you look at someone like Prithiv, someone who is just joining the fray. What kind of advice would you give him?
I would say to focus on your passion which is to improve your craft every day. Don't focus too much on wanting to be recognized or to be known, because I think it will come naturally. So if you focus on your craft, you focus on improving, you focus on improving the way you market yourself, naturally, I think the way you fight will speak for you.
Yep, it's true.
Right, brilliant. Well, we're gonna wrap this up in a bit, but I just mean before
because Iman needs to pee. He sends us he just sent us a message.
Before I wrap this up, I just want to say one thing. I like to give my take on the people that we have on the show and stuff like that. I think you're one of the youngest guys that we've had for a bit, but I also think that you're one of the most matured one that we've talked to. It's great and refreshing to know that a youngster like yourself can set out goals at an early age, and I'm cheering you on to actually reach those goals.
Thank you.
I mean, the one thing that you have that me and especially one no longer have is the energy of a youth. You're at a stage where you can gamble a bit, you can take a bit of a risk. You can try a few things out without really much consequences, which will change once you have a family and once you have a lot more responsibilities. So I hope you stick to those dreams that you have, no matter what people say, and just plow through, man. I mean, stand by your words.
Yeah, be relentless, man. Be relentless.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. That was very good advice.
And is there anything you want to say to people, hearing this? Any shout outs you want to give and where people can find you and stuff like that?
Well, you can find me on my Instagram page, which is Prithiv with 4 V's. I think it's right here. So that's the name right there. Prithiv, Prithiv, 4 V's. Well, I feel like whoever is supporting me and following me, you're in for a good journey. You're in for some excitement, because I'm going to do some pretty cool stuff in this part. I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to working my butt off. I'm looking forward to proving my supporters right and my haters wrong, and possibly changing them to supporters. Well, I'm really grateful for being on the show. Thank you for having me, and I wish the show the best of luck.
Brilliant. Now, Wan, do you have anything to say to your fans and also your haters?
Oh, follow me on Instagram. I'm going to go naked soon.
All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Prithiv, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Again, we are the Wan Man Show, the number one fight podcast in Singapore. No longer the only fight podcast in Singapore. But thank you so much for listening to us, the thousands of you, which we are forever grateful for. And also everybody out there, frontliners, thank you so much for your service and keeping us safe. And anybody out there listening to this, wear a mask, wash your hands, and don't touch your face like Ridhwan usually does. And hopefully we'll listen to you guys soon. And Prithiv, all the best in your career. The Wan Man Show will be listening, and hopefully, when you are out and about and you start your career, we can get you on the real couch one day.
Perfect. I would love to come back again.
Brilliant. All right, guys, let's end it here. This is the Wan Man Show. We're out.
Oh, we never traveled before, right? Together for competition.
We never showered?
You never showered.
Well, Wan, is there something you want to share with us?